Okay, sprint review, sprint number 18. What did we do last 2 weeks? GDPR still on the list, mainly because there are still some open points, in my opinion, from the HR perspective, and I have one other aspect to mention. I think the rest of the list will just go through it. We will handle all those aspects during the meeting. First, as always, long-term metrics. The application migration, almost the same list as the previous time, except for the on-holds. We have an increasement of the on-holds. That is because we had a discussion with all teams that were having applications on Q3, and some of them, at least 4, mentioned that their application will be stopped somewhere in Q3 or Q4. So they said it's not logical to spend any time on it. But if it will be longer, then I will just inform you if it still is necessary, guys. So yeah. If it's just Q3 or Q4 on a decommission, that seems logical. So that's also can be seen in this one. The green one, horizontal, for the first time in a long period, but we will discuss on that. So 10 more apps behind one login. So the short term for Q2, we're still on 5. We had some applications that we're working on. Cut was we thought we were waiting for somebody else, but actually we needed to do an additional action. So if that's done, we can combine that one. And on top of that, Gatekeeper, but that will also be discussed. We hoped to have that up and running last week, but it wasn't successful. One other aspect that's good to mention is there's a new validation being done on the onboarding time. And basically we see that the onboarding time increased mainly because of the additional time needed for Gmail. So I think that's a good point to work on.
Same statistic as digital nomads measures the staging of it.
Yeah, exactly. This is only on the actual onboarding, and it's mainly a manual process, so it's taking time. And we were just wondering what would be a logical thing to handle as first, and if you can automate things like that, probably. So we need to discuss this also with the digital nomads, if they are already on top of that, or that we need to do that. And the GDPR metrics. So the only thing that I want to discuss on GDPR, and it probably won't be on the list for next time, is that basically we went through the list of Active Directory aspects, but if you look at the aspects that were being checked, it's more on an improvement on security, not really GDPR related in our opinion. So it's not a GDPR action anymore, but we were still on top of it, and we were still working on having the security been increased. Move applications, as mentioned, cut. We're working on that in test, but we need to fix something today. Gatekeeper.
If you say 5 more apps like that, is that
the media alarm application, and there are a lot of apps that are going to be implemented with the same user groups. It's the same thing all over again, so it can be faster if cut is released.
Yeah, so we're trying to do that because it's media alarm. We also need to have that implementation a bit more challenging for communication, etc. But that's it, and then we can move on and probably have 4 or 5 additional ones. Gatekeeper for procurement looked quite promising. connecting the app. The only thing was Gatekeeper wasn't aware that OneLogin also has an EU tenant. So it has a very simple interface to connect an application, but that simplicity is killing us now because you can't provide that it's an EU tenant. So they have to do something, and this morning already an additional reply and check was being done, but still no solution for that. So none done this month. That's a long time ago that we didn't do one. But we have enough stock. That's not a problem. So we're trying to chase additional ones. And also the AWS was on the list, but we will do that probably in July as discussed. Reduce onboarding time. Last sprint we validated 5 templates, but we weren't able to finish that completely. Also because we had some issues and some holidays. So the time that was being left was quite low. So we're still working on that, and hopefully we have that fixed in the next sprint, so we can have that validated within Service Desk. Reduce number of Vasco tokens. The previous one on SAML wasn't successful because the application is working in the basically in the browser, and then all kind of checks aren't being filled in. So what we did was rebuild it on the Radius. It's working proper, and I want to demo that. On the Pulse Secure, we just manually added an additional connection. It's still pointed to SAML, but it's because we needed an endpoint, and this one was already up and running. So we reconfigured this endpoint also with Ethereal. So it's basically handling Radius connectivity as users know it currently. So if you push on connect, the only change for end users is this is sorry, yeah, my
There's not one whim.
111 ambiguous.
So basically it's doing the same stuff, and then you'll need to fill in the challenge, the token challenge. And that's
Doesn't work with the push.
exactly, the push isn't working because it's not a browser based and there's no REST API.
It's a pity, but it's okay. We can go on.
Before that, you also copied from your token.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not harder than before.
So,
Okay, that's better. Yeah.
so basically the setup is the same as with the Vasco token. The only thing is that now we actually did the account based on the UPN and the OneLogin account. So it's validating against Radius in OneLogin.
Yeah. Does it work with the YubiKey?
That's a good point. Didn't test that. That's What we do now, we have the setup up and running. We will do a validation and a test within a small group for this sprint.
Yeah, because we only added strIDe and Ethereal. Maybe because you asked me that Lars would join, but as a super to test it, maybe that he can do some tests. Or isn't it?
I did ask that. Or
Yeah, I asked if it's okay to add you, and you said it's better to add Lars because he can do some extra testing. Or is it not okay?
Yeah, it's better to add Lars for sure, but than me. But yeah, sure.
It's a kind of validation period, and if something pops up,
Lars doesn't use the YubiKey either, so we should add someone with a YubiKey
will,
as well to that
It's
list.
it's a good point.
But you can add Lars as
Yeah.
well.
We'll do that. Okay. So all the things that are coming up, we will just grab that, and if we have no big challenges, we'll try to see if we can move this to production in some manner. New payroll system. In the meanwhile, last weeks we had some demos of AVOS, SDWorks, and SuccessFactors. Basically vendor demos to HR, and I was involved in that as for architectural aspects. And the first offerings are coming in. We still need to do evaluations of the vendors from now on. But within a few weeks, they're trying to aim to have at least an advice at the end of June. What kind of vendor will be used and what kind of social secretary will be used.
Once you made a decision, it would be nice if I could have a look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I already mentioned that the contracts will need to go through IT, and not an issue. It was more or less that trying to get them already in the right.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you can do everything, but the thing is that because it's kind of sensitive data.
Yeah, correct.
Have a quick check.
Will do. On MediaLAN, workspace track, ADMT groups were migrated, and the PES tool was done. Worked on script for daily runs, but this we need to have that being finalized in this next sprint, because also other aspects are depending on this ADM. So if we are running the complete batch and can start a daily job, then we also need to document and do a knowledge transfer to service desk, that they are aware on how to handle for new users in MediaLAN. Other improvements? No, the first one is not an improvement, but we lost a day on a major incident. We're coming in with an root cause, but I think it's good that we discuss this when they're here and in 2 weeks, as far as I recall. Created a list for service desk on password expirations spike in July, since the Gmail migration was being done half a year ago, a bit less than half a year ago. There was a request from everybody to change their password, so we have a peak in July. Service desk mentioned, requested, okay, how can we do that? And we will just have a list delivered, and that can be grouped. And if we are, for example, sending it across to a small group every 2 days, then we segregate the amount of people. And for LDS, we did some additional stuff. The 4,000 users are being added now in Active Directory. It's not the complete list, almost a complete list. We still have some pending points with users that we don't have a password, and some additional ones win.
Users which have.
Oh yeah, username, that's too long, yeah.
Yeah, some account name is maximum 20 characters. LDS, there is the some account name, so you have only name which has no limits. 35 users with that username.
That's a fine number.
So that's done, and I think MedLink in the meanwhile also changed the application.
The checkbook now, so it's good now.
It's a start. So they're validating it as a second fallback scenario to Active Directory, so they also know where to move that if we are.
I would try to put a deadline.
Yeah.
When you're gonna.
Yeah. No, that's
communicate it to all.
Yeah, but in the meanwhile, we're also searching for what other applications are actually using the LDS. So,
yeah, we should do that as well, but just so there is some pressure on the team to actually face it.
Yeah,
because otherwise it won't happen.
You're right. Okay, some non-mission work. helped the digital nomads with some shared mailbox migrations. And we started copying data from decentralized NAS. It's not somehow, but it's more or less to decommission the wide domain, so we're pushing it on. Okay, focus for next sprint. ADMT, we want to have that be finalized, but also working on the PulseSecure execution of the pilot. Publish intranet, there was a request from MediaLAN to see if we can have that set up that both can handle that. We're not sure if that will work as simple as expected. Try to focus on that if that's an option to change. Otherwise, we need to have a workaround on that.
We could work on making it public and put.
Yeah, but that's the VIA intranet, but this is even the current intranet. So, yeah, that could be. Yeah, and the RAS tickets. They want to have a push on that. One is pending, and the other ones are, I think, we have everything in the backlog now. So we're good to go. We know what to do. Questions? Remote? Anybody?
Not for me.
Okay. Then I think that's it. Thanks for the attention.
All right.